What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Happy late Monday. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to post this morning. I was on vacation, as you can see. Just because I was on vacation doesn't mean I wasn't following along on the crazy madness of college football. I had so many picks that were just so close last week that just could have happened, like the Texas game. Vanderbilt was just right there, just so close to winning, upsetting that. But anyway, we're going to talk about this week. Friday, 8 o'clock, Boise State loves the Friday night matchups. They're playing against San Diego State. I have a blowout in this one. Even the spread says minus 23.5. I think this is going to be a cakewalk for Boise State. They're going to finish this season out very strong. Now, even though if he was their hardest opponent, they're probably going to meet up again in the championship game. First Saturday game at noon, we have the big one, the big daddy, the game of the week. Penn State versus Ohio State. One undefeated, one loss. I have Ohio State coming out just edgy to victory. Both of these teams didn't look too great last week against their respective opponents. Both had very slow starts, very close to losing on both of their parts. But I do have Ohio State. I think Ohio State has a stronger offense. They have great elite receivers. Their quarterback is looking great. Their defense is holding teams sometimes. But Penn State, I just don't. They're just too slow. I'll put quotes around slow. This game is going to be close. This could be the game to watch next Saturday. Next Saturday, there's going to be a lot of games like this where it's super slow. But before I lose you, please check out this another video that talks about the ACC and the what-if scenario. Would love to have you guys there on those what-if challenges. And it describes that there's possibly a chance that there could be a 5-way tie in the ACC. But anyway, Miami's going to win this 30-13. This next Saturday, we have a noon game. This is going to be my first upset of the week. Alarm bells ringing. Ole Miss did not look good against Oklahoma. Like I said in my picks and prediction video last week, I said Oklahoma was going to stay with them, potentially even take the lead, lose to their lack of experience and lack of talent, which happened. They were up ahead at halftime, and then they let Ole Miss take the lead and essentially beat them across the finish line. But this week, Arkansas is a very different animal. Arkansas is actually a team that can finish games. So I have Arkansas coming out with the upset against Ole Miss, taking essentially Ole Miss out of the rankings for the 12-team playoff with the 3 losses. So I have them winning 30-24. Saturday is going to be a slow one. I have Army versus Air Force. Air Force is going to score a couple points. It's going to be a very close game. They're both academy schools, so I feel like there's going to be a little bit more to it. But I do think Army is going to take care of business in this one, and they're not going to have any issues against Air Force in this one. Unlike last week, Navy did get kicked out of the rankings, but, rest their soul. Next noon game we have is Illinois versus Minnesota. Next upset alert ringing. I know Illinois has been doing fairly well. There are 2 ranked teams under their belt, one of which is Michigan, which doesn't look too great. But I do have Minnesota upsetting this game. I think Minnesota's going to go in. And I think Minnesota's actually a really good team. They're just got a lot of unlucky draws against the teams they play. So I do think that Minnesota's going to win 26-24 on this one. First 3:30 matchup we have is Michigan in the big house against Oregon, #1. I think Michigan's going to do the same thing Oklahoma did against Ole Miss. They're going to stay in the game for the first half, potentially. Oregon could just blow them out. But I do think that Michigan's going to stay in this game for the first half and then essentially just crumble as their lack of experience, lack of coaching talent just falls beneath them, and Oregon's going to take the lead or even just continue the lead and just ultimately dominate this game. I have a 35-21. Essentially, Oregon can score as many points here as possible. I don't think Michigan can do too well. Next game we have is a Titan neutral site game, Georgia versus Florida. Georgia sitting at #2. I still don't think Florida is that good, and neither does Vegas sitting at -16.5. I think there's going to be a little bit maybe back and forth at the beginning. That's why I gave Florida some points. And Georgia's defense hasn't been looking the strongest in recent weeks, but it will be close at some point in the game. Next 3:30 game we have is Iowa State undefeated against Texas Tech. Texas Tech could have been really good. They could have been ranked if they just didn't lose those 2 games this last 2 weeks. So I have Iowa State dominating this game, 29-17. I know it looks a little closer than it should. I think Texas Tech's going to score some garbage time points, and I think that Iowa State should be in the top 10. I think the pollers have it wrong, and they keep pushing them out for no reason. They're undefeated. They should just be in the top 10, but that's neither here nor there. But I do have Iowa State winning this one. Next 3:30 game we have is Indiana versus Michigan State. I think Indiana's going to dominate this game. Indiana's having a phenomenal year. They're a team of winners. They're undefeated. They should also be in the top 10. There's a lot of teams in the top 10 that I think could be pushed out, but that's Also, neither here nor there, but I have Indiana winning this 33-10 with ease. The next 3:30 game we have is Kansas State versus Houston. I think this is going to be a close matchup. Houston hasn't been looking too good this year, but I think at home, late in the season, they probably found some life in them. I think they're going to keep this close. Kansas State likes to keep these games close. I don't know why they do, but they just do. But I do have Kansas winning this 33-24. First primetime game of the weekend, we have Texas A&M versus South Carolina. Ring the bells, ring it all around, alarm bells, upset alert. I have South Carolina winning at home just barely. Winning by 3, maybe a field goal near the end for the game winning. Texas A&M, I know they're number 10. They just had a crazy victory against LSU, and they're all high and tied. But we know what other team had a crazy victory and then the next week lost to a somewhat mediocre team at the time? And that's right. That is Alabama. So I think Texas A&M is going to come in this game thinking they have a cakewalk. But South Carolina isn't no cakewalk. They might not have the best seasons. They might have the best years. But I think South Carolina's going to come up with the upset on this one, 30-27. Next Saturday game, I wanted to do an upset. I thought about it, but I don't think Louisville has it in them for the upset at home against Clemson. I think Louisville's going to keep it close. Louisville is a high-scoring offense, and I think that they have a chance here to keep it close and even potentially make this a nail-biter game. But I do think that Clemson is going to win this. I know they're tied at 11 with Iowa State in the polls, but I do think that Clemson's going to win this 42-35 with no question. Next primetime game of the weekend, we have Tennessee versus Kentucky. I don't think this is going to be a close one at all. I have Tennessee winning 42-17. Not much to say. Tennessee's just a better team, a powerful team, powerhouse in the SEC, and I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to do the upset at home in Tennessee. Last game of the weekend we have is Pitt versus SMU. The second best game of the weekend to really show the ACC. If you haven't checked out my ACC video of potential crazy what-if scenarios for a tie, please check that out now. I have Pitt winning this in that scenario, and I think Pitt's going to win this too. SMU went to overtime with a subpar Duke team. I think Pitt has shown something, has shown a level of defense and offense in the last game against Syracuse that they are here to play and here to stay, and I think they deserve to be in a higher ranking than what they currently are, but only time will tell, and I think that they have a potentially chance to win the ACC. I know at the beginning of the season, I said I really wanted SMU. I still do, but in this game, I can't pick the Mustangs or a Pitt in this one. Last bonus game of the weekend we have is Iowa versus Wisconsin. Rivalry weekend, prime time, and Kinnick. I have Iowa winning this 28-21. Not much to say. Iowa's just a better team, and I don't think Wisconsin can finish games. Even if Wisconsin were to get up on this game, I think Iowa will just ultimately outgrind them in the second half and win the game, just like USC did to Wisconsin in California. But that's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Sorry for the late start, but that's going to be it. Peace!